If you work in the hospitality industry, especially luxury resorts here in Da Nang and Vietnam, you're probably struggling with your own staff, employees, their well-being, leadership teams. I'm Daniel James, and I just spent 2 days at the HORECFEX conference in Da Nang. And one of the common themes that kept coming up was the well-being, not only of the guest experience, but also of their own members of staff. Now, I spoke to a panel of speakers, guest speakers, and the thing we all agreed on was that it starts with the leadership team. Now, this is one of the areas over the last 10 years in the military that I really try and help organizations to understand, is that it's their leadership team that sets the intent and the example. It all comes down to education and how they actually help their members of staff. You can't look after your members of staff if you don't look after yourself first. And if you don't look after yourself, you can't look after your staff. And then your staff aren't in the right frame of mind to look after their customers and the people that actually come to their resorts. I was speaking to one of the panelists after the panel finished, and we were talking about sustainability and how people misunderstand burnout. Burnout's become a buzzword, 2025, definitely 2026, and it's still a buzzword probably going into 2027. But one of the biggest things that people misunderstand about stress, burnout, being able to properly reset your nervous system, burnout isn't about how much we can do. People often think it's because we've got too much on our plate. But what it actually is, it's the fact that you can't pause and actually reset your nervous system. Quite often people go on holiday, but they're so busy going to see the tourist sites, going to plan something. They feel like they have to do something every single day that they're just not able to switch off. Or they sit there thinking they're switching off, but they're just doom scrolling. They're doing exactly what they do at home, but only now they're thousands of miles away in a hot country doing exactly the same. So some of the things that I encourage people to do, and it doesn't have to be when you're on holiday, it can even be when you're at home. One of the first things is pull up your phone, have a look at your digital screen time. If you're getting anything over 4 hours a day, you probably need to cut it down. Now, I understand there's some jobs out there where you need to be on your phone, but you need to take charge of your device usage. And 2 hours at least before you go to bed, you need to come away from your device and try and relax and reset your mind. Get ready for bed, which leads me on to point number 2, consistent sleep. Now, I was speaking to people over the last 2 days at the conference, and they were saying, sometimes I go to sleep at 1 a.m., sometimes it's 11 p.m. I get anywhere from 4 hours to 7 hours. It's not good. You need consistency. Ideally, you start with a consistent bedtime and then a consistent time that you wake up. This is so you can actually track how many hours of sleep you're getting a night, and your body can start building a routine and a rhythm that it can actually understand. I can now rest. And when you get into this rhythm, when you get into this habit of consistent sleep and consistent wake up time, you will get to that time and you will feel tired. It takes a little bit of time to get used to it. It takes a little bit of time to build a new habit. But trust me, if you implement these 2 things, you'll be way ahead of other people who aren't able to reset and properly calm down their nervous system. Now, when I was in the military, I was teaching people about burnout. I was teaching people about stress, becoming more resilient. Meanwhile, I was spinning a lot of plates. I had a young family, a 1-year-old at home, a marriage, all of this, and I ended up suffering with burnout myself. Now, throughout my military service, I suffered with burnout on several occasions. And that's because it took me years to fully understand what it meant. And it's only, 5 years ago, the data and the studies have shown that it's actually, like I said earlier, the ability to pause and reset your nervous system. And then now going on to point number 3. So we've spoken about screen time, trying to cut it down. Number 2 is consistent bedtime and consistent wake up time. Sorry, I say bedtime because I've got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. So we just call it bedtime. I can't remember what, people that aren't parents call bedtime. Let me know in the comments. Maybe it's just the time you go to sleep. And then the final one, the third one, is some sort of physical exercise. Now, whether that's you wake up in the morning and you go for a swim, you go to the gym, or some people enjoy road cycling, going out on their bike. This is something that not only helps you physically, it helps you mentally and spiritually and your nervous system. It helps everything. You get a rush of endorphins. You feel good because you've done something difficult. You've probably built some resilience because guess what? If you wake up in the morning and you don't want to train, every single morning that you make the decision to go and train, you're building resilience. And this is why in today's workforce, there's a lot of people that aren't resilient. And, you might get offended, but maybe you're a snowflake. And maybe you get offended because I called you a snowflake. And maybe you need to go to the gym and become a bit more resilient. All jokes aside, just to finalize, monitor your screen time, consistent bedtime and wake up time, and then some sort of physical exercise. If you can start off doing it in the morning, that will give you dopamine, oxytocin, all the endorphins that you need throughout the day. But I also encourage people to do mobility snacks or movement snacks throughout the day. So rather than just doing 1 hour in the morning, every 2 hours, just get up from your desk, walk around, maybe do a walking meeting, go into a squat, do something that gets your body moving. And I can talk about walking meetings at another video. That's something I implemented in the military and it was an absolute game changer. Anyway, it's Friday. Let's go and enjoy the weekend. Get some movement in. I encourage you, maybe contact your friends, go play pickleball, go do some sort of physical exercise that is going to help you relax your nervous system, connect with people, physical exercise, and try and get some sleep over the weekend. I'll see you on Monday.